Given this moment of crisis we're living through, of course, governments are struggling to respond. But we, people like us, people all around the world, we have no choice but to adapt. We have no choice but to act. We have no choice but to take action. The Global Citizens Assembly consisted of people from over 60 countries, selected by lottery, no vested interest, and a representative of the global population. They spent 7 weeks examining the evidence on food and climate. They heard from farmers, scientists, industry experts, indigenous groups, and activists. Now, in these processes, their views change, polarization almost always evaporates. It's not about consensus, it's about the conditions that are created for people to have deep respect between one another.
Şimdi sorunun ne olduğu konusunda önce
But what was important is that they provided us all the information in a very clear, unbiased way. The culture, the discussion culture, the approaches and the perspectives in every assembly member, which was brought to us by the facilitators. So the facilitators themselves has this culture, provided us the freedom and the non-bias that I just mentioned. So we adopted these from the facilitators. I agree with Richie that this was an excellent example of how the world should be organized or how the world should be governed.
Livestock is my livelihood and the livelihood of many people in my community. But as we learned more, I started to understand the bigger picture. I learned that industrial livestock expansion is one of the major drivers of deforestation, biodiversity loss, and climate change. So I went into this assembly thinking this recommendation threatened farmers, but I left understanding that protecting forests is actually about protecting families.
My role, having been president of the Club of Rome, but also through all the work that I do, is to join the dots. And what I see about the Global Citizen Assemblies, that's exactly what it does. It not only joins the dots, but it joins the emotions, it joins the heart, it joins the soul, it joins the people in place with other peoples in place. And recognize the importance not only of the voice, but of the infrastructure, the architecture that we create in order to enable those voices to be heard. And that is the journey that we are on together. There is an opening within the multilateral process, a recognition that not only are citizen voices fundamental, but also that parallel track of ambitious coalitions of the willing that we have now seen on tropical forestry and that we're seeing also on fossil fuels should be included directly into the process in one way or another.
But the most important element of LEAPS is that we know that this group of people are a snapshot of the human family. This means that even participants not worried about or not worried at all about climate change, all 22 calls to action pass with over 85% support. It's a supermajority of people, again from every region of the world, representative of the global population.
I think we go beyond IPCC in recognizing that science by itself is insufficient, that engagement of science with frontline actors, with citizens, is what drives change. So EAT is deeply committed with RCI and its partners to create spaces such as this. I'm quite encouraged by the actions that you highlight because many of them mirror the work that we have in the Commission. The sentence that we're constantly struck with, that you can't feed 10 billion people and protect the environment, is complete nonsense. Because actually, if you focus on healthy diets, if you focus on some production, reduce food loss and waste, you can not only feed the 10 billion people, but you can do it within environmental limits. And we agree that we share the same goal, healthy, safe, and just food systems, recognize that we disagree on how to get there, that disagreement in understanding it is a key part of the process, how we can work together to make the really urgent change that needs to happen in the next 5 years.